Do you know that it becomes a complicated affair when engineers have done the design of a renewable energy project, but then they are unable to communicate the financial viability of this project to investors or to policymakers? That's where engineers have problems. You see, in most renewable energy projects, engineers are the ones doing the majority of the work in terms of the designs and the numbers. And having to explain this to a financial person or someone who wants to bring in their funds could be complicated in some cases, unless those engineers have some financial training. CREST is the cost of renewable energy spreadsheet tool, a tool developed by the National Renewable Energy Laboratory to help engineers and other professionals that are developing renewable energy projects to be able to provide financial modeling information to policymakers, as well as for policymakers to use this tool to understand whether a business they are trying to invest in is viable or not. Hi there, and welcome to Carpet of Resources. In the last video on this channel, we looked at a tool from DTU, and that tool was used to estimate the wind resource at a particular location. For example, if you know the coordinates of a particular city or town, probably in a rural area, you can plug in those coordinates into that global wind atlas, and that global wind atlas can actually tell you what is the wind speed and what is the wind power density in that particular location. That video has been linked above for your viewing. Back to this video, here we are going to be looking at the cost of renewable energy spreadsheet tool and how it works. It's a tool which is useful for engineers and for policymakers, investors, developers, and the likes. We are going to go through this tutorial video to look at how it's done, the user manual, the different spreadsheets that have been provided for use, the templates that have been provided for use, because you have for solar, for wind, for anaerobic, and for other power systems. So we are going to look at them one after the other in subsequent videos, but for today we are going to be looking at solar spreadsheets, the CREST tool for analyzing solar investments. If you go to this website, nrel.gov/analysis/CREST, you will see the cost of renewable energy spreadsheet tool. So if you are reading part of it, you need to read all of these notes, because they are important to understand the purpose of the tool and what it can do, the functionalities as well. So you see, the cost of renewable energy spreadsheet tool CREST contains economic cash flow models designed to assess project economics, design cost-based incentive, evaluate the impact of state and federal support structures on renewable energy. For example, there are certain projects that may not be self-funded by a company or an organization. They may require funding from government, an investor, or subsidies, probably from regulatory agencies. And these subsidies should be able to reflect in the financial model how do these subsidies impact on the overall profitability of the project. This is why this spreadsheet tool is important. It helps you to analyze what you are working on. So this spreadsheet tool has been done for the US, so you'll see a lot of things there for the US, but it can also be extended to other countries, because I myself have seen something like this being done in Nigeria here. It's similar, but with some other different features that are unique to the investment in Nigeria, as well as Nigeria as a whole. So, but this tool was developed for the US, but we are going to look at how it works in general. So you see intended uses. CREST is designed for state policymakers, regulators, utilities, developers, and investors. The model allows users to estimate the year one cost of energy and levelize cost of energy for projects. Experiment with the process of setting cost-based incentive rates. So with this, you're able to plug in different values of incentives and see the outcome in the financial modeling to see how it reflects over a 25-year period of life cycle of the project. So you can observe the effects of different economic drivers on a given renewable energy project cost of energy and levelized cost of energy. Comprehend the relative economics of generation projects with differing characteristics such as project size, resource quality, location, and ownership. So you can see here to download CREST, you have the CREST spreadsheet for solar, for wind, for geothermal, for anaerobic digestion, and for fuel cell. So there's a supporting document, which is this document. It's sort of like a user manual. it can be gotten from this website as well. So you select this and you download it for usage. So this is more recent one then from 2013. So once you've downloaded all of these spreadsheets as well as the user manual, we can then come to the spreadsheet. So some of the information you see the spreadsheet, we have introduction. Look at the sheet tabs: introduction, inputs, summary results, annual cash flow, complex units. So for input of data, you're only going to be using the inputs tab and the summary results. So summary results can be used for scenario analysis, not really imputing data that is going to be processed. So you can use it for multiple scenarios. But those are the two tabs that will be used in most cases for imputing values. The annual cash flow and returns, nothing is being imputed there. It just gives you the numbers. Then cash flow as well, similar to it. So this first page, which is the introduction, it has a lot of explanation. And most of the explanation is also in the user manual, but this is an abridged version. So I implore you to actually go ahead and read this first page, the first sheet in the workbook for the solar CREST spreadsheet. So from here you'll be able to see that there are some items that, let's go straight to what you can impute and what you can't impute. So you can see here black text, blue bold text, entry inputs, Molière conventions. Blue bold text denotes user-defined inputs. The user is responsible for modifying these cells to be consistent with the project being evaluated. So let's look for the blue here. You can see this is blue. Yeah, editing that. This is blue, intermediate blue, photovoltaic blue. So you can see blue in several places. Once you have plugged in the values, then the ones in black will then change because those ones are formulaed cells. So in the check column, green cells are used to indicate that the cell has been entered or acceptable. Enter in a required field. Conversely, red cells appearing in the check column indicate that the required cell is blank or contains an invalid argument which requires the user's attention. So you can see it here. So these ones, the ones that have the yellow filling of the cell, has a drop down. It has a drop down, but it's also blue, meaning that you can change the input, but it's based on whatever is in the drop down. Sorry, the question mark means it's an explanation of what is required in those cells, or the outcome, or what it means. The green means information has been filled in the cells as required. So if you go over this, you'll be able to find out the necessary step because it's quite straightforward. So we are going to, let's look at this now. We're going to run an analysis. Anytime you have input all of the data in any of the cells here, let's say we put 45 million here. It updates. Then we come to the annual cash flow. We click on. And sometimes when it's not retroactive, when you input details, it doesn't retroactively update the output or the cash flow, in which case you need to go there and click on does model project meet minimum DSR? It does not. Does model, okay, it's not applicable, it's not required. So this is the summary result. So let's say you want to run multiple models of capital costs, grants, and other things. You can always copy all of this. You can always copy from the top, the outcome from the top. You can always copy and place it in the other scenarios. So you see it has actually updated. So it's values we need. It's just the values we need. So this is it. So if you now run a different scenario, different capital cost or grant, once you come again, you copy this first, you copy this column again, and you place it in the next available slot for the values alone. That's how you'll be able to compare different scenarios for the solar power system. So once all of this is done, you then come to cash flow. Again, you can see the cash flow, operating expenses, revenue, after tax IRR. So the IRR becomes profitable. It gets to the point where we're interested, which is an IRR of 15, IRR of 10 within 5 years. So cumulative cash flow, after tax cash flow, but in year 20, after there's some spending, there's some reduction in funds as well. So that's basically it for using the cost of renewable energy spreadsheet tool, and it's something that you could spend time and study and see how you can also extend it to other countries, because this was built primarily for the US, but it can be extended to other countries. So thank you for watching this video. Remember to subscribe to this channel and like this video and share. Thank you. This is Catchment of Resources, where we create for better living.